I hiked the John Muir Trail in 2019, and on that hike, I discovered my favorite campsite of all time, and I've been wanting to go back ever since. So come along with me on a 4-day, 3-night solo backpacking trip into the Inyo National Forest. I've been driving for a couple of hours and I just crossed into Inyo County. I'm heading to Mammoth Lakes to do a little solo backpacking trip. The main plan for the trip is to visit Thousand Island Lake, which I got to see for the first time when I hiked the JMT, and I loved it so much, so I'm really excited to go back and to see Devil's Postpile again. That was super cool. Maybe hit up some of the hot springs that are over there. We'll see. It's 100 degrees right now, so it might be too hot for a hot spring. But anyway, I saw that the road past the Mammoth Ski Resort is still closed, so that shuttle is not running yet. So I have to find a place to park, I think, along the road somewhere, and that adds, I think, like 4 miles to my day. And I think today I was planning on hiking 12.5 miles to get to Thousand Island Lake, and I don't know if that's gonna happen, so we'll see. If I follow the itinerary I planned, I will be doing about 4 nights, but things don't always go as planned, and more often than not they don't go as I plan, which is totally fine and all part of the adventure. So we'll see what ends up happening. Either way, I'm prepared and I'm excited. So yeah, happy trails. See you at the trailhead. So I just parked back there along the side of the road because the road past the Mammoth Ski Lodge or resort or whatever it is closed. So it added a couple of miles to my hike, and I think I'm okay to park there. I asked a few people around the lodge and no one seemed confident, so hopefully my car is still there when I get back and no bears have broken into it. Let the adventure begin. 4 miles of road walking later, and I made it to the trailhead. So I'm taking the high trail, which also happens to be the PCT. Oh man, the mosquitoes are bad. They are swarming me every time I stop. They just attack. I can't like stop moving for a second. But take a second. Look at this view. Oh my goodness. Amazing. But also, look at all the mosquitoes. Alright, can't stop moving. I should stop to put some bug spray on, but I don't feel like digging through my pack. I also have a little head net hanging over there, but as long as I keep moving, I'm good. Oh, this is beautiful. What a gorgeous trail and a beautiful view. I could see Shadow Lake right over there. Where can you see it? Yeah, there it is. Right over there is Shadow Lake. You can see a little waterfall running down from it. So much more beautiful in person. This is gorgeous. I think that is Banner Mountain, so I'm trying, I think it's called Banner Mountain or Mount Banner, something like that. But Thousand Island Lake is on the other side, and my goal is to make it to camp at Thousand Island Lake tonight, although I'm cutting it pretty close. It's an ambitious day to drive like 6.5 hours from San Diego and then hike like 12.5 miles to Thousand Island Lake, especially because you know, I had to add 4 miles for the road walk. So we'll see if I make it. I think I'm about 4 miles away and it's 7:45. We'll see. I want to make it there before sunset because it's so beautiful the way the sun sets with Banner Mountain in the background of the lake, and the mosquitoes aren't bothering me so much up here because there's a nice breeze. I think I'm also out of like the wet and shaded area, so I'm enjoying the break from the mosquitoes for now. And yeah, gonna jam out to some music in one headphone so I can keep the other headphone, so I can keep my other ear open and listening. Every once in a while I call out, "Hey bear," just in case. But I'm gonna put some tunes on to motivate me, to put a little pep in my step to make it the rest of the way. I'm racing the sunset right now, and I think it's kind of at its peak. It's probably gonna start getting dark soon. I didn't quite make it to the lake. I see a campsite right here, and I'm thinking I should probably call it a day because I'm moving so slow. My legs are tired. I'm tired. Sometimes things don't always go as planned, and I know this was a bit ambitious of me to do today, and I'm a little disappointed I won't be, well, I'm not there for sunset, but I found a nice little spot right here that'll have to do. Good morning. Good morning. It is 6:30 and I kind of slept in today. I woke up at like 4:30 because I had to go to the bathroom. Got back in my tent, fell back asleep, and didn't wake up till now. And this is later than I usually wake up. I like to wake up with the sunrise, but it's been like raining a little bit on and off all night, and my rain cover was on, so I wasn't really able to see that the sun was rising. Usually that would wake me up. And there's so many mosquitoes. But I'm up. I have a little bit of a headache. I think maybe having some breakfast, coffee, and drinking some water might help. But I'll get to make it to Thousand Island Lake today, and I'll have to look at the map and decide what else, or like where I'm gonna stay tonight, what else I'm gonna do today. So here's my view. It's not Thousand Island Lake, but it's still nice, and I had this spot all to myself. It was so quiet. Funny, when I went backpacking a couple weeks ago, there were no mosquitoes, or like close to no mosquitoes, and now this trip a couple weeks later, so many mosquitoes. Honestly, I think the most frustrating thing about backpacking sometimes can be mosquitoes, because they just non-stop attack you when you're hiking. You feel like you can't even stop for a second, and then they swarm. And it gets in your head. They get in your head. These mosquitoes are little, little mind benders. They know how to get you. But they're important, I guess. Part of the ecosystem. They're food for birds and fish and maybe lizards and frogs. Anyway, I'm going to make myself some brown sugar raisin oatmeal, some coffee, and I'm getting my snacks organized for today. I'll also get dressed. I got my coffee and my oatmeal going. I like to boil double the amount of water that I need for my breakfast. So half of it goes for my oatmeal and half of it becomes coffee. I have, what do I have? For my coffee this morning, I have a blend of Grateful Earth kind of espresso super brain blend with turmeric, cinnamon, lion's mane, chaga, black pepper, L-theanine. I don't know. It's supposed to be good for you. And Chamberlain Wildcat instant coffee. This actually I love a lot. It's my favorite instant coffee, I probably would say. And then I mixed it with some creamer. I've tried to like black coffee and it's all right, but it just doesn't do it for me. I need a little something in there. I usually add hot cocoa, but I had hot cocoa last night. So this morning I'm trying this layered superfood creamer. It's like a coconut vegan creamer, and we'll see how it is. And I'm having this brown sugar raisin oatmeal. I'll probably add a little bit of peanut butter to it for some extra protein. And I'm getting my snacks ready for today. I like to keep the snacks for the day outside of my bear can and like in my pocket so they're more easily accessible and I don't have to worry about taking off my backpack, opening my bear can and resetting everything up, making it a whole thing. So anyway, I have a liquid IV hydration every day. They taste good and they're good for you. 3 times the hydration. I need that. I'm also going to have some fruit leathers. I got these from Trader Joe's, I think. Apple apricot and apple wildberry. These are like the healthy versions of the fruit roll up and fruit by the foot that I also have as a little treat for myself. Sometimes you need a little pick me up when things are getting tough. Like last night when I was trucking trying to race the sunset and didn't quite make it. One of these helped get me a little bit further along the trail. I'm really glad I found this campsite, honestly. I also have some fruze balls. These are pretty good. They're like, I think they're like dates, cashew nuts, coconut, concentrated apple juice, apple puree, sunflower seeds, blueberry, pear puree. They're really good. You could get these at Trader Joe's, but if you order online or on Amazon, they have so many other flavors. I have some wasabi soy sauce almonds. These are delicious. And these tamari grain rice crackers, something like that, from Trader Joe's. These are delicious as well. I probably won't eat all of these almonds and crackers, but I don't have a smaller package to put them in, so I'm gonna leave them in those bags. Anyway. So I only have about 2 miles, I think, to get to Thousand Island Lake. Another reason I didn't push all the way to Thousand Island Lake is because for the first like mile when you get to the lake, you're not allowed to camp. So that would have just been another, I don't know, 20 minutes of rushing to try to find a campsite pretty much in the dark. So I'm gonna hike over to Thousand Island Lake, maybe hang out there for a little bit to enjoy the views. Then I gotta look at the map and decide what else I'm gonna do today. Maybe I'll make it to another lake, or I'll make it all the way back down to Devil's Postpile, but that'll kind of like make my trip short. We'll see what the possibilities are. I'm aiming for like a 3-night trip. I packed for 4 nights, so it could be 4 nights, but we'll see. The mosquitoes are already starting to bother me. I'll put bug spray on today. a thought I had this morning, because I woke up at like 4 a.m. because I thought I had to pee, got out of my tent, got ready to pee, and realized, oh no, you also have to go number 2. Sorry if this is TMI, but this is camping. You know, you do gross things. So I try to, or I would recommend to dig your cat hole, find the place where you're gonna poop in the morning, maybe the night before, because if you're like me and when you're camping, like you literally wake up because you have to poop, you don't want to be scrambling around looking for a poop spot and digging up your hole when you have to go. So here's a little tip for you. Dig your cat hole the night before. This is really good. I like this better than the apple cinnamon flavor. All right, I'm all packed up and ready to start hiking for the day. It is now 8 o'clock and I decided I'm going to, well, the goal of this trip was to camp at Thousand Island Lake. And since I'm only like 2 miles away from the lake, I want to do a little bit more hiking in my day than that. So I decided I'm going to hike to Donahue Pass, to the border of Yosemite National Park, and then come back and end my day at Thousand Island Lake. I was having a hard time adding up how many miles that is going to be, but I don't think it's too much. So I think it'll be doable. We'll see. I love trips like this that are like really casually planned and I can kind of just go on a whim and, you know, be spontaneous with my trail where I go, because so many trails connect, especially when you have good maps. Yeah, I feel like John Muir just wandering around the Sierra Nevada mountains, living off of what I can carry on my back. All right, happy trails. So it is 11:15 and I've hiked, I guess, 4 miles about. And after Thousand Island Lake, I got to Thousand Island Lake so quickly. But after I got to Thousand Island Lake, pretty much everything after that is all snow. So trying to navigate through all of this snow and staying on trail. There's like one set of footprints that aren't super reliable, but it's very difficult to hike through this snow. I do have my micro spikes, which make it a little easier, but I'm realizing I'm going pretty slow because of the snow, so I probably don't have enough time to make it to Donahue Pass and back to Thousand Island Lake before sunset. So I don't know, I'm kind of feeling like calling it a day, or like just turning around from here,
going back to the lake, finding a good spot to set up camp for tonight, and just relaxing, enjoying my podcasts and music, and eat a good meal, and just soak it all in, because the sunset last night looked beautiful, but I can only see it through the trees, and I'm hoping tonight will be just as beautiful. But for now, I am going to turn around. So this is my turnaround point, just completely covered snow. One little patch of dirt. I haven't seen the trail in like miles at this point. It's just more fun when you kind of know where you're going. Don't have to think and try so hard. But anyway, also when I was walking past Thousand Island Lake, I think I mentioned this earlier, you are not allowed to camp within like the first mile. There's like a restoration area that is off limits for camping, and this, like literally right behind the sign that says this is the restoration area, please don't camp, there were people set up. So that was kind of sad to see, but hoping I will find a good spot that's in a leave no trace place. Made it back to Thousand Island Lake. I think I still have a little bit more to go to get actually down to the lake, and I'm wondering where I want to camp tonight. If I want to find a spot down there, or do I want to stay up here so I have the kind of higher up view. I got plenty of time to decide. I've been listening to some podcasts to kind of motivate me through walking through the snow. I'm like moving 1 mile an hour when I'm hiking through the snow, very slow. But I've been listening to Tooth and Claw and National Park After Dark, which I'm like, I can't listen to those at night because then it starts getting in your head a little bit, but I love listening to them during the day. And also I learned so much from both of those podcasts. So if you haven't heard of National Park After Dark or Tooth and Claw, I highly recommend. I made it to my campsite. I'm actually pretty sure this is the exact same spot my brother and I stayed when we hiked the JMT, with a beautiful view behind us. And a lot of marmots are coming out to come say hi. I hope they don't try to chew through my tent or my bag or anything. I'll keep everything in my bear can like you're supposed to. And I'm just chilling. I have the rest of the day to relax. I've been looking at the map, trying to plan out my day tomorrow. Thinking I'll try to make it to Red's Meadow, Devil's Postpile, or maybe just before there, and then do that the next day. We shall see, but I'm hoping for a good sunset today. There's been a lot of random like thunder and clouds. The clouds are moving so quickly, but it's been sunny and beautiful. Yeah. So I just cooked myself some dinner with a view. I'm eating the Po & Co. Folk Foods quinoa sweet potato skillet with black beans, tomato, and chipotle. And I put it in a tortilla. And I also added some green olives. They came in like a little snack pack from Trader Joe's. And wow, this is so good. Tortilla, excellent call. Yum.
Good morning. I have been up for a little while now. The sun is above the horizon. It is a beautiful morning. I made myself coffee and breakfast already. I'm having Trailtopia blueberry oatmeal and another coffee. This time I added the hot cocoa powder and instant coffee and creamer. So a little different from yesterday morning. I am also getting my snacks together for the day right here. So I got PB&J bar from Trader Joe's, 2 Fruit Leathers, this like seed bar, it's really good from Trader Joe's, 2 one fruit roll up and 1 fruit by the foot or fruit oolong. I don't know what they're calling them these days. And then wasabi almonds and a liquid IV hydration pack. So that's what I'm eating today until dinner. The sunset last night was a little disappointing. I thought the whole mountain was gonna like light up pink, and the clouds kind of dissipated around sunset time, so it wasn't this like beautiful pink sky either, but it was still lovely, of course. This view alone is spectacular, but the sunrise was a little better than the sunset, although it wasn't like lit up this bright pink color that I remember it being last time. But that's all right. It's still beautiful. I'm having a wonderful morning. It didn't get too cold last night. I slept really well. It didn't rain, so I had like my rain cover on, but the zipper, like I've had it rolled up like this the whole time. And my whole tent is covered in like condensation, I guess. So I'm kind of waiting for the sun to hit it so that it evaporates it so it's dry when I pack it up to put it away. Today I'm thinking is going to be a long hiking day if all goes to plan. Maybe I'll make it just before Red's Meadow, or I'll make it to Red's Meadow. I'm not sure, but I think I have one more night on this trip or on this trail. For the most part, I did stick to my plan, I guess. Just a little bit of improvisation based on how I was feeling. And that's kind of how backpacking trips should go. You should listen to your body. Listen, if you're with other people, listen to the group. Make sure that everybody is feeling comfortable and safe and having a good time. So, yeah, I'm having a great time. And I'm going to enjoy my breakfast, probably hang out for a little bit longer, pack up, and hit the trail. Alrighty, I'm all packed up and I'm starting my hike for the day. I'm leaving Thousand Island Lake and we'll see where the day takes me. It's funny that the lake actually froze overnight. This part was like all water or melted yesterday, and now all the way up to the edge, it's a little layer of ice. I don't feel like it got that cold though. Must have in order for it to freeze, or maybe because of the snow in the water still. I don't know, but it's pretty cool. Anyway, let's seize the day.
So I'm stopped here for a break on this long switchback section between Shadow Lake and Rosalie Lake, I think. After taking the split after Thousand Island Lake on the JMT to finish the rest of the trail, things got pretty sketchy pretty quickly. I'm really glad, like, at this sketchy section that I was about to turn around, I saw a group of boys on the other end who had just done it. They set the footprints, so I followed their footprints. I have a video of the section. It's pretty sketchy, or I was afraid because I don't have an ice axe or anything, but put my micro spikes on, crossed, met the group of boys that was on the other end. They had just graduated from high school, I found out, and are on like a nice little group trip. But they didn't see any footprints ahead of theirs, so I asked if I could just tag along on the back of their group, because I know by myself I tend to play it safer, and I would have probably turned around. But I'm really glad I followed these boys because they led me across a even sketchier section that I definitely would not have done by myself. We had to like climb up to this like waterfall, and there was all these rocks and it was covered in snow. It looked too sketchy to try to stay on the trail, so we ended up rock climbing, scrambling up this wall, and then trying to figure out our way back to the trail. I was a little doubtful at moments, but we did end up making it. And I split from them just a little while ago. They're going down from Shadow Lake to the river trail to make it back to Agnew Meadows, but I'm continuing a little further to Red's Meadow, which is on that same like shuttle system to Mammoth Ski Inn or Lodge or whatever, but the shuttles aren't running right now, so that means I will probably have to do some extra road walking compared to what I had to do to get here, because I'm ending at the end of the shuttle and I started at the beginning of the shuttle, or like what the first stop I guess would be. So we'll see. I'm on my own from here on out, and I hope the trail doesn't get too sketchy, but we shall see. Wow, how cool is that? Today was a great day. I can't believe I made it all the way here. Well, I made it back to my car. My phone died last night after Devil's Postpile, and luckily I just had to follow the road basically back up to my car from that point forward. But Devil's Postpile is amazing. I love that rock formation. It's just so cool to see. So this morning I woke up pretty early because my phone was dead. I wanted to make it back to my car sooner rather than later because I have my GPS on my phone. It's not great to rely on your phone, but maps aren't super specific like my phone is. So I started doing my 6-mile hike up the road this morning, and I started around 6 a.m. and there were like no cars on the road. But funny enough, today is the day that they opened the road and they're starting the shuttle, which would have been so helpful with not having to do the road walking, but I didn't know, and I was already walking uphill, and I don't think the shuttle started until like, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 maybe. But as I was walking, I stuck my thumb out if a car did come by and was heading the direction I was heading, and a nice couple of, I guess, rangers, people who were helping restore some of the campgrounds and campsites and water systems, offered me a little ride. They only took me like 2 miles, so
I don't know why they couldn't just take me the 6 miles all the way to the top, but I'm not going to complain. I'm really grateful for those 2 miles that they took off my plate. And then I was almost at the top, and I stopped on a tree stump with a beautiful view just to catch my breath. There was like nowhere to sit along this whole road. So I found a tree stump to sit on. And as I was sitting there, this woman pulls up in her car to get out to take photos. And I figure I'm almost to the top anyway. I'm not going to ask for a ride. But as we were talking to each other, she said, "Do you need a ride? Where are you heading?" I was like, "Actually, that would be wonderful. Thank you so much." And she drove me the rest of the way, basically to the lodge that I'm parked near. Super grateful. She's also a teacher, so that was cool. She's also a solo adventurer, so we kind of bonded over that and just how empowering and rewarding and amazing it feels to do hard stuff like that on your own. And I'm a really big believer that you don't need other people to do the things that you've been wanting to do your whole life. Like, if there's something you really want to do, but you're waiting for somebody else to do it with you, just do it on your own, right? I mean, I feel like I'm my own best friend. I feel like everybody should love themselves enough to be comfortable spending time alone. And especially when you're doing the things that you love the most, I don't know, what can go wrong? Of course, you want to be safe. Being alone can be unsafe, but I met a bunch of people on this trail that were more than willing to help and lead me when I needed it. So there were a couple instances with snow and a river crossing that I did need the company of other people to get me through. Otherwise, I probably would have turned around if I were by myself. But I feel amazing. I'm really happy I did this, and it all pretty much panned out how I was hoping it would be. There was more snow than I wanted. I did lose an AirPod into the river. Sorry, I left a trace and I feel bad, but what can you do? It happens. And I made it back safe and sound in one piece. Now for the 7-hour drive back, I just put it into my navigation and it says it's going to be like 7.5 hours to drive back to San Diego. But good thing it's only 9:30 a.m. so I have the whole day. I'll probably stop to get some coffee and breakfast and then stop again later to get some lunch. Jam out to some tunes, play more podcasts, and just reflect on what an amazing trip this has been. So I hope you guys get out there and don't wait for somebody else to fulfill your dreams. Love you. Happy trails.